Markets have been up and down off the back of weak commodity prices and uncertainty. Here to discuss what's been happening in Europe is Tommaso Corcos, CEO and GM of Eurizon Capital. Well, Tommaso, let's start with European economies. Now, they were off to a rocky start for 2016. So what would you say is the investor sentiment on the ground today?
Well, the investor sentiment is very conservative at this moment, not too much given that a lot is already happened in terms of correction, but certainly the fast and the speed of the correction of the market, I think that took everyone by surprise in terms of entity of the correction. So now a lot of people is really questioning which is really a health of the economy. So probably many investors are waiting for being reassured in terms of the capability of certain engines to give support to the world economy. So I think that there is a lot of interest in the price of a lot of shares that are reach interesting targets, but notwithstanding that, the still investors are moving very cautious just for the reason that I mentioned.
So this sort of investor sentiment, what kind of impact has this had on the asset management industries? Starting from
the last quarter of the past year and also in the first few months of the 2016, we face a slowdown of inflows, but this is pretty normal. I mean, you just read every day on the newspapers that stock markets are going down, that you see a lot of volatility, and so I think that there is a feeling of being more conservative. So if you are too much invested on the equities, you scale down your risk, or if you want to invest, you take more time to do it, and so you wait for better times. I think this is pretty understandable, and this is the reason why, let's say, companies like ourselves must support our distributors in giving the right advice to the savers.
Well, your company has certainly been bucking the trend with success after success. So what's been your strategy?
The strategy is to combine not only the importance of the performance of the product, but also, let's say, the capability of giving the right advice, giving the right service to the customer. And this is our mantra. It's something that we are a strongly believer of, this double combination that is not only performance driven but service driven, because in the past years the major inflows came from individual investors and not from the institutional, because if you think about what's happening to the sovereign wealth funds, they really reduce very much their investment on financial markets. So just being more focused on individual investor means that you must be capable of giving them a lot of service, because they're not too sophisticated like institutional ones.
And your principles for responsible investment, talk me through those.
This is very important. You try to promote the best practice in corporate governance, respecting the environment and taking social responsibility. It's a win-win situation, because it's positive for the final investor that you represent, it's positive for the companies in which you invest, because it's pretty proven that the companies that have good practice in terms of corporate governance have a better performance related to others that do not care of this principle. Also, it's very good and positive for the capital and the markets in general, just because a more sophisticated market where all the companies practice this principle are able to lure more investment from institutional investors. And this is very positive. That's why it's a win-win situation.
Now, with so much uncertainty in today's climate, how do you approach risk management?
In the past few months, we scaled down on the risk, waiting for better times and more clarification on first on economic scenario, second on the profit environment in which we are now. When the market will discount this effect, we will again raise the level of risk, and the fund manager will again increase their position. So risk management in moments like this are important to reduce the volatility of the product, the volatility of the performance.
So bearing this in mind, what investment trends are you looking towards in the coming 12 months?
We are still focusing our attention and attention of our investors to multi-asset product. What do I mean for multi-asset product? Is investment solution or outcome-oriented product that give the possibility to the single customer to enter in a well-diversified solution. So with a single investment, they can access the equity market or the bond market. I think that in an environment like this, where the volatile is still very strong, that must be really clear for the investor what type of product is buying, what type of volatility is bearing, and what type of targets he is trying to pursue, so that the combination of all these situations can give a product that really fits the needs of this customer.
Tommaso, thank you.
Thank you very much.